welcome to Just a Minute. Oh, thank you. Hello, my name is Nicholas Parsons, and as the minute waltz fades away, it's my huge pleasure to welcome you to this special edition of Just a Minute from BBC Television Centre. After 45 years of entertaining by the radio, we thought it was about time to perform this show for your viewing pleasure. So without further ado, please welcome to the show four talented performers, and they are seated on my right, Paul Merton and Marcus Brigstocke, and seated on my left, Stephen Mangan and Sue Perkins. Please welcome all four of them. The players will try to speak for just a minute on the subject that I give them, and they must try and do that without hesitation, repetition, or deviation. The other three panellists can challenge at any time they wish, and if I uphold the challenge, they gain a point. And if not, the person speaking gains a point and keeps the subject. We continue like that until the whistle goes, and whoever is speaking at that moment gains an extra point. And by the way, they can repeat the subject on the card in front of me. And Sue, would you take the first subject? Oh, that's an interesting subject. It's teacher's pet. They have 60 seconds as usual. Sue, starting now.
My teacher's pet was a chinchilla, a crepuscular rodent that loitered on the aggression scale somewhere between Mike Tyson and Anne Widdecombe. It had the softest fur, but a temper of Satan, a little bit like myself when woken far too early in the morning. It sat in a cage on bedding made of paper, and we were tempted to play with it. However, my friend Alison stuck her finger through the bars and immediately was stabbed by these incredible front teeth. The screams echoed down the corridor. There would have been a nurse called, except I didn't go to the sort of establishment where there were members of the healing profession available. It's a terrifying creature, said Pet, and I would encourage people to stay away from them. In their natural habitat, it might well be that they are pleasant. However, when confined in an educational environment, they become incredibly upset. And I also suspect it was allergic. Well,
that was amazing. And you really deserve that resounding round of applause. That doesn't often happen when we've been playing this game for 45 years, and it has yet to happen in this particular series of Just a Minute. So congratulations, Sue. You started with a subject, you finished with a subject, you get a point for speaking when the whistle went, and also a bonus point for not being interrupted. So at the end of that round, Sue Perkins is in the lead. And we've moved to Stephen Mangan.
No pressure then, after that. Wow. That's how you do it. Just speak for a minute.
That is it.
Come on.
How hard can it be?
Don't worry. Don't be inhibited, because it very rarely happens, and she is exceptional at the game. So, Stephen, this is a good subject. Frankenstein. You have 60 seconds as usual, Stephen, starting now.
Frankenstein, or Frankenstein, as it's very rarely pronounced, is a novel by Mary Shelley, one of our finest authors. Her brother, Percy Bysshe, which is a name that sounds like a sound that Ivor the engine might make on arriving at a station, was a well-known poet. Her book is about a Dr. Victor Frankenstein, spelt with a K, and he created a monster from old body parts, tyres, ricotta cheese, string, fungus, and other items from the back of his refrigerator. This creature roamed the corridors of...
Oh, Sue, you've challenged.
Repetition of creature.
Yes.
Very good.
Well, that's something.
Well done, Stephen. Thank you. It's the first time he's played the game, and he went for the first time, therefore, with 42 seconds.
Wow.
Unfortunately, you've done all the hard work. Sue gets the subject, because it's a correct challenge. I agree with you, Sue. And you're still the only one who've got any points. And have 18 seconds. Tell us something about Frankenstein, starting now.
She was visiting Lord Byron at Lake Geneva and they were sat round the campfire when she conceived of Frankenstein. It was incredibly powerful at the time to think of stories associated with electricity, those Enlightenment issues that galvanised the nation. It's a gothic horror and one of my favourites.
So once again, Sue Perkins was speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point. And she's still the only one who's got any points in this. Just a minute. But we're moving on to you, Marcus, now. The subject is your mum. That's the subject, not your mum. Talk on the subject of your mum, and there are 60 seconds as usual, starting now.
I think, like, the basically best way of discussing this particular topic is to do it in this particular voice, because most...
Oh, yes. Sue challenge.
Repetition of particular lag.
Got two particulars there, yes.
True.
And Sue, you're still the only one who got any points. You've got another one now, and you've got 53 seconds. Your mum, starting now.
My mum is fabulous. She looks a little like an owl, her glasses resembling a welder's goggles. She's timid, smart, and underestimates herself. She makes a fabulous Victoria sponge, but try telling her that and her cheeks will flush an almost extraordinary red. She's loud when needs be and can apply the back of a hairbrush to your buttocks quicker than Jack Knife. She is incredibly soulful.
Marcus challenge.
Deviation. Jack was famous for his use of a knife, not a hairbrush.
You're talking about Jack the Ripper?
No, absolutely not. Not
Which
at
Jack?
6 o'clock.
Jack the Knife.
Yeah, Jack Knife. So named for his speed with a knife, not a hairbrush. It was pretty spurious, Nicholas, but to be honest, I had to press, didn't I, at some stage?
Yeah, somebody has to speak, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what we do. Shall we give it to Stephen? He hasn't played the game very much.
What? Yeah, that
So, Stephen, in the 28 seconds, you tell us something about your mum, starting now.
Your mum smells of bacon. There, I've said it. It's something I've always wanted to speak aloud, but only now have I had the courage to talk. Perhaps she was bitten by a radioactive pig as a child. But whenever I see her, I have an urge to butter 2 slices of white bread and slap them either side of her and slaver red ketchup across her body, maybe some mustard, and then with my big teeth, and they are enormous, take a huge chunk out of her side because...
So Stephen Mangan was then speaking as the whistle went, gained that extra point, and he's now in second place behind Sue Perkins, who's in the lead. And Paul Merton, we'd like you to begin the next round. The Wild West. Tell us something about that exciting subject in this game, starting now.
Well, I remember the days of Wild West, even if it was yesterday. James Gang rolled into town and the sheriff at the time, he didn't really pay attention. But I stood there, I said, listen, you're going to stand up to these boys, otherwise the whole place is going to be taken over and go to wreck and ruin. He said, listen here, old-timer, you may have no secret. Well, who buzzed then? Who buzzed? Who buzzed then?
I happen to be using this programme as an audition for the Royal Shakespeare Company.
I'd wondered if he'd had a stroke.
No, he hadn't. He was going in fine form.
I was just
in
worried.
Character. He was doing his audition piece, and he was doing one of his character studies. So that was an incorrect challenge, Paul.
Oh.
And you keep the subject, and you can keep the character too if you want. And there are 45 seconds for the Wild West, starting now.
I remember the first day I saw Maybelline, prettiest girl I ever saw.
Sue, you've challenged.
I remember the first day as a repetition.
Yeah, they're repetitive of that. Yes.
Short-term memory.
I know that.
Lack of.
Sue, a correct challenge. You have 43 seconds on the Wild West, starting now.
I wish I'd been alive in the Wild West. Have stood there watching the gangsters mowing each other down. A sheriff with a badge standing...
Paul challenge.
Well, I don't think they were gangsters in the Wild West. It's been fairly well authenticated that they were cowboys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but they were like gangster cowboys.
Oh, I
isn't
see,
it?
gangster cowboys.
No, I think outlaws or cowboys, as you
Renegades.
say. No, gangsters, I think that's incorrect.
Right,
But
absolutely agree.
So, Paul, you have a correct challenge. You have the subject back with you, the Wild West.
Do the voice, do the voice, do the voice, do the voice. Come on, Leah, come back and talk.
Can he sustain the voice? 36 seconds, starting now.
6 years old I was when I first saw my gold mine. I said to Papa, you gotta find another way of making money. He says, I'm gonna sell your teeth to the vet. I said, what's he gonna need them for? He's just a horse doctor. No, his voice has got better, it was pointed out to me. I said I wasn't referring to the quality of his vocal cords. I'm meaning what he's coming in a four-legged animal with an hole to his neck.
Marcus, you've
There was a
challenged.
small deviation from the accent, which
Oh, I spent some time in Devon.
up until vocal coids have been very impressive.
I thought it was a fairly solid.
I think it was fairly solid too. I think the audience think it was fairly solid, don't you? Yes.
You always
right.
look to do something that's fairly solid in comedy.
Yes. So they're all with you, Paul, and you have 14 seconds. Another point. Wild West starting now.
I went to the Wild West in 1922 and the thing had completely turned different. I saw a toothless old man as he should have been here in the old days. There was a gold mine over there, and there was a...
Sue challenge.
A repetition of gold mine.
Yeah, I don't know many cliches, do I?
Oh dear, we wanted him to keep it going till
That's
the
all right,
end.
don't worry.
Oh yes. But Sue, that was a correct challenge, so we have to give it to you. And you've got 3 seconds on the Wild West starting now.
Okay.
Paul challenge.
Extraordinary hesitation.
Yes.
Extraordinary. You could have made a ham sandwich in then, couldn't you?
No, I'll give you a bonus point because we enjoyed the interruptions. But Sue was interrupted.
Absolutely.
It's a point for that. The Wild West, 2.5 seconds starting now.
I was a gold prospector and I came here because I heard Paul Merton's
Paul
action.
challenge.
She's doing my material.
So
I
have you
learned
got
from
a
the
challenge
master.
within the rules of
Yes,
Gentlemen?
it's ruining my income. On the back of the stage, you'll see wide old-timer, Wild West, toothless me.
But you said you were doing an audition for a part. Which plays you're going to be in, or which film?
Well, it's a rather radical interpretation of the importance of being earnest.
Came big to see.
And which part was that, Ernest?
No, that was Lady Bracknell.
Oh, later on.
I did say it was radical.
That's going to be some show.
It's going to be some show.
So, no, Sue, an incorrect challenge. And you have half a second on the Wild West starting now.
Oh, Lordy!
So, Sue Perkins, speaking as the whistle went again, that not all important, but that extra point, and she's now in a strong lead ahead of Paul Merton, Stephen Mangan, and Marcus Brigstocke in that order. And Sue, it's your turn to begin. The subject is the Puppet Master. Tell us something about that subject in this game, starting now.
We're aware of the puppet, but who pulls the strings? In this game of just a minute, it's Nicholas Parsons, who stands twitching our arms and legs, moving our mouths. We are merely vessels for his diseased light entertainment.
Right, Stephen, you challenge.
Something made me press it. I don't know what it was.
Was it the loud silver fox bellowing, "Come on, do a challenge"?
So what's your challenge?
My challenge is deviation.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely deviation.
I don't pull the puppet strings.
You don't pull
Yes,
no
he
strings.
does. Yes, he does. You don't see it.
I don't work them, they work themselves. Gosh, that was quick of you, Stephen.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased.
You were really on the ball there.
I know. Thank you.
So, correct challenge, Stephen. You have the Puppet Master and 45 seconds starting now.
I get taught Taekwondo at a rather unusual branch in Camden Town, and I'm about to be made a puppet master, which is the level up from Stairmaster, which is where I currently reside. To achieve this notoriety...
It's a musical.
Sue, your challenge.
Well, it was hesitation, but it also was light opera at the same time. I think worthy of a bonus point. But yeah, so it's hesitation.
Hesitation, right. 31 seconds are still available, Sue. The Puppet Master starting now.
Recently, I went to a marionette theatre in Salzburg and watched the puppet master do an extraordinary rendition of The Sound of Music, where the Julie Andrews character was actually less wooden than the original. It was marvellous to see this multi-limbed creature.
Marcus challenge.
Yes, hesitation.
Yeah, I think...
Extension on multi-limb.
I think she was running out of steam, and so we got to the point we call it hesitation. And Marcus, you got in with 15 seconds on the Puppet Master starting now.
For me, the ultimate puppet master is Mr. Jim Henson, who, of course, created the Muppets, which were my very favourite things when I was growing up as a lad. I was a huge fan of Animal on his drum kit, and in fact had a badge with his face on, which I absolutely loved. And I destroyed many...
So Marcus Brigstocke was then speaking as the whistle went, gained an extra point for doing so, and he's moved forward. He's still in 4th place, but he's moved forward. Stephen, we'd like you to begin the next round. Oh, dear.
Oh.
What frightened me as a child? 60 seconds starting now.
What frightened me as a child were Nana Mouskouri and Demis Roussos. Their enormous Greek faces in my dreams would come surging out of vats of hummus and taram salata, singing, "Those were the days, my friend, I thought they'd never end," as they lifted up high into the sky on pita bread wings, dripping their dips all over my Tottenham Hotspur duvet. And I lay curled there saying, "Please, no, not the Greek. I've said face people." Oh.
Sue, you challenge first.
Repetition of Greek.
Yes, I think they all saw that one. And you've got the subject. You have 29 seconds, and it is what frightened me as a child.
Doctor Who frightened me as a child. Davros in particular, with his studied metal skirt and incredibly old face. Stairs, of course, were the things that were totally put paid to his world domination plans, but as a child I had no idea that such a simple thing could prove to be so utterly disgraceful. Why I've used that phrase, I've no idea. It didn't make any sense.
Marcus challenge.
As Sue pointed out, it didn't make any sense.
Didn't make any sense.
So there's deviation from what she was saying. You have a correct challenge, Marcus. You have what frightened me as a child. 7 seconds starting now.
What always frightened me as a child was any sort of challenge involving speaking in front of other people, particularly for a set amount of time. And it's a fear that I haven't ever...
So Marcus Brigstocke was then speaking as a whistle went, gained that extra point. He's moved forward. He's in 3rd place, equal with Paul Merton. Stephen Langer's 1 point behind. Sue's out in the lead. Oh, and the next round is a lovely subject. The Owl and the Pussycat. Yes, Edward Lear, I've got a whole show about him. I know these poems are so lovely. The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money, wrapped up in a £5 note. The owl looked up to the stars above, and he sang to a small guitar. "Oh, pussy, my love, oh, lovely pussy. What a beautiful pussy you are, you are. What a beautiful pussy you are." Pussy said to the owl, "Elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married, too long we have tarried. But what shall we do for a ring?" They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the bond-tree grows. And there in the wood, a piggywig stood, with a ring to the end of his nose, with a ring to the end of his nose. "Dear pig, are you willing to sell for 1 shilling your ring?" Said the piggy, "I will." So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. And then hand in hand, on the edge of the sand, they danced by the light of the moon. The moon. They danced by the light of the moon. Well, thank you for that endorsement of my show.
How does it go?
It went very well. The audience loved it. They don't disappear like you lot did.
I was just trying to get hold of some tickets for next week.
I like your tribute to their boat in the form of a jacket.
Yeah, it could be pea green. Yes, it could be. They sailed away in a year and a day.
Oh, not again.
Paul, we'd like you to take the subject. And there are 60 seconds as usual. The Owl and the Pussycat, starting now.
Well, I just thought the beautiful rendition that Nicholas Parsons gave of that magnificent poem by Edward Lear, The Owl and the Pussycat, was really an extraordinary example of the artistic qualities of our magnificent... I can't say it. I don't believe a word of it. I just can't say it.
Oh, Paul, and I believed you to begin with. Sue, you challenged
There
first.
was a hesitation. A sort of...
There was a hesitation.
Yeah.
So you have 47 seconds, and you have the subject of The Owl and the Pussycat, starting now.
Edward Lear, a glorious, absurd, comic master of the poetic form. And that's all I know.
Mangan?
Hesitation.
So you have 40 seconds. Tell us something about The Owl and the Pussycat, starting now.
The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful
Oh,
pea
God,
green
I do as
boat.
well.
They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a £5 note. But if you've ever taken the product of bees encased in Queen's coinage, you'll find it gets very sticky after a while.
Marcus challenged.
Yeah, deviation.
Right.
Well, it was a £5 note, isn't it? It's not the Queen's coinage. Very difficult to wrap honey in coins.
So Marcus, a correct challenge. The Owl and the Pussycat's with you. 24 seconds available, starting now.
I once had a pea green boat and I put an owl and a pussycat in it, and unfortunately the owl attacked the cat and the whole thing ended horribly. But it didn't stop me from enjoying them setting
Stephen,
sail.
you challenged.
Hesitation. He said...
Well, there is now.
He said,
So what was your challenge?
Hesitation. He said, but
Oh, he did, yes,
Yes.
he did, yes.
I meant butter, the delicious.
Seaman, a correct challenge of 12 seconds. Tell us more about The Owl and the Pussycat, starting now.
I was known as both Owl and Pussycat at university. Owl because I was nocturnal and wise and ate mice. And
Sue challenge.
I was at university with Stephen. He was drunk. He was silly. He wasn't wise. He simply was so deviation from fact. And I know that.
but
I'm not having that.
We don't know that, do we?
I do. I was at college with him.
I think we have to give his impression of what he thought he was like at college.
He was an animal.
Well, he was two animals. He was an owl and he was a pussycat.
Now, I'm going to give Stephen the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And say you have 4 seconds, Stephen. The Owl and the Pussycat, starting now.
and Pussycat because I used to wear a
Paul challenge.
Well, he's very good, but it was repetition of because. Because we had owl because and pussycat because.
Because.
Which is a bit tough.
So, Paul, you've got in with 3 seconds to go on The Owl and the Pussycat, starting now.
The owl and the pussycat looked at each other across the divide.
The situation now is that Sue Perkins is still in the lead, and she's way ahead of Paul Merton and Stephen Mangan, who's second place, and Marcus trails them by just 2 points. That's all. And Sue...
So I'm in third, though, out of 4 possible
You're in
places.
third place, yes.
Yeah, tremendous.
And, Sue, will you begin the next round? The subject is spreading rumours. 60 seconds, starting now.
2 years ago, I spread a vicious rumour that Greek was bust. Greece! I'm an idiot!
Stephen Mangan, you challenge.
hesitation.
There was a hesitation. Stephen, you have the subject of spreading rumours. 56 seconds, starting now.
Spreading rumours have plagued the margarine industry for years. The rumours being that margarine is... Yes, yes.
Sue challenge.
Repetition of margarine.
There's too much margarine there,
margarine.
yes. And Sue Perkins, another point to you. 49 seconds on spreading rumours, starting... Oh, I've got hiccups.
Repetition!
Oh, no. It's not a good idea to have hiccups in the middle of a live television show.
Are we live?
My God.
So, Sue, spreading rumours is now 49 seconds, starting now.
After spending an entirely innocent evening in a bunga room with Silvio Berlusconi, a very unpleasant rumour about me was spread. Namely, that I could be purchased for lira or euro in new money for any evenings with former
Marcus' challenge?
Yes, hesitation.
There was a hesitation, yes. Marcus, you have 33 seconds on spreading rumours starting now.
Spreading rumours is an awful, terrible thing to do, but my God, it's good fun. For example, many people have told me stories about Simon Cowell and just exactly what he prefers, but I can't say what those things are here. Those would be...
Paul's challenge.
Write it down.
So, Paul, what was your challenge with the rules of just a minute?
Oh, I haven't got one. Hesitation.
He did hesitate,
Yeah.
yes, well done. You were quick there, Paul. And you have the subject, spreading rumours, starting now.
When a major event occurs, something like the assassination of John F. Kennedy, there are rumours that abound that there was some conspiracy involved. The American public couldn't believe that their president could be taken out by a lone gunman. Lee Harvey Oswald was the man who was actually accused of the crime, and it's fairly clear that it was him involved because...
So Paul Merton was then speaking as a whistle when gained that extra point. He's moving forward. He's in second place behind Sue Perkins, who's in the lead. Marcus Oh, it's time for tea. That little tinkling bell tells us we have time for only one more round. Right, Marcus Brigstocke, it's your turn to begin. Training a crab to walk forwards.
They're playing right into your hands, Marcus.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Marcus, you begin. Training a crab to walk forwards, 60 seconds starting now.
Training a crab to walk forwards is not an easy thing to do, but it puts me pleasingly in mind of Sir Arthur Strebe-Griebling's attempts to make ravens fly underwater. That was created by Peter Cook, and it always made me laugh. However, I have trained many a crab to walk forwards. The trick is to convince the crab that they're drunk. This is not an easy thing to do, but one of the ways you can do it is by swaying about and offering them a kebab, at which point the crab will usually begin to veer in your direction, and then you start waving your arms, jumping up and down and punching the side of a police van. That's usually a pretty good indication that you've had one or two too many. So the crab is then excited by what you're doing and thinks, well, I probably am, and begins to teeter in the rough direction of what you're doing at that stage, which is pretending to be blind blotto. I'm such a head of steam up. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, and you win for 49 seconds. You do all the hard work and somebody comes in and takes it from you. Sue, what was your challenge?
Hesitation.
Unfortunately there was, yes. But we enjoyed it.
Oh,
so
me
I
too.
think you should, as it's the last round, you should have a bonus point for 49 seconds. Yes. So you get another point for a correct challenge, and there are 11 seconds left, starting now.
Surround its flanks by angry, hungry lions. Then you'll find it'll move forwards with surprising speed and skill. Or strips of bacon latticed over the top as if you're about to move it into an oven.
So Sue Perkins speaking as a whistle when gained that extra point, and the final situation, oh, an extraordinarily fair one. Sue was out in the lead, but in second place, equal with Stephen Mangan, Marcus Brigstocke and Paul Merton, all with the same number of points. So a round of applause for the seconds. And a round of applause for our winner today, which is Sue Perkins. Again, it reminds me to say a final thank you to these four fine players of this game. And so it's goodbye from this delightful audience here at the Television Centre. It's goodbye from me, Nicholas Parsons. And join us again the next time we take to your screens and play Just a Minute. Yes!
The all-singing, all-dancing Cotton Buddies play for £4,000 against the Eggheads next on BBC Two. Then promoting local fish for local people, but a storm is brewing for the Fisherman's Apprentice earlier tonight at 7 o'clock.